Hi, and welcome to my channel. On the first video I did, I used a vintage lens to try to get some pictures of butterflies, but I didn't run into that many, so I shot a new video and wanted to do a more in-depth tutorial, but this time I used a more difficult and challenging lens. This is a 75 to 300 lens, and as you can see, you adjust the focal range by sliding in and out, and then you can adjust the focus by twisting the lens. So with one hand, this gives you the ability to do a lot. And so what I'm also going to do is I attached a GoPro to this so that I can bring you guys along for the fun, and you can see me in real time take pictures of butterflies. And here we are at the Botanical Gardens. First thing I do when I arrive on site is to take a test photo, just to get a feel for how the camera focuses and how my lens can get close up to a subject. Here I have a demonstration set up to show you sometimes the difficulty of focusing with a telephoto lens. Not only is it difficult to acquire your subject, but you got to get your subject in the correct focal plane. So here I have an engineering project set up that my son did, which is a bridge he made at camp. Behind that is a plant. Inside the bridge I put a quarter, which I'm going to focus on that, but I'm going to focus behind and in front of it, just to show you that even though the camera is pointed directly at this quarter, you may not be able to see it in the photo. So first, let's start with a photo coming from behind it. Now in this photo up on the screen, can you tell there's a quarter in there? Not really, and that's what makes this type of photography really challenging, because you can have your camera pointed directly at your subject, look through the viewfinder and you won't even see it. So here, let's focus too close. Now looking at this photo, can you tell there's a quarter in that photo? Maybe you can kind of start to see it. Let's focus right in on it. Now there, you finally see we've got a photo that resembles a quarter. So if you're struggling with this in your photography, one of the things you might want to do is to stop down your lens a little bit, and this will help you see what's in the foreground and background of your focus plane. But when you do that, you're also going to have to crank up your ISO, and sometimes that might be what you need to do just to have a little bit more flexibility in acquiring your subject. So now this time let's take the same three photos. I'm going to go behind and in front and then on the quarter, and let's see how these look. That one was behind. This one is in front. Now if you look at this one, you can obviously make out the quarter in this photo. Let's focus on the quarter itself. And then look at this one. So if we go back and we compare to the very first photo of the quarter I took just a second ago here, and now we look at this one, we'll see that when we stop down, we've actually got more of the quarter in focus. So that also gives you an extra advantage when you're out doing photography of close-up subjects, is to stop down a little bit, because you're going to get more of it in focus. A lot of people want the blurry background, but with a 300mm lens, you're going to get a blurry background even at f8. So I would encourage you to stop down a little bit, raise your ISO, and that's going to help you acquire your subject in focus. So here I am. I'm really excited. I'm almost positive I'm going to look into these flowers and see a butterfly. I don't. Right here I noticed there were butterflies flying up on top of this structure. It was almost impossible to get to them. I stayed back in here hoping that one would land on something and I would see it. And I kind of started losing hope, because all these flowers here off to the left and to the right usually have a whole bunch of butterflies. And I've always seen the most butterflies right here, and there were none. But eventually I found like a little brown butterfly. And so I started taking pictures of this guy thinking, oh my gosh, what if this is the only butterfly that I see today? I was hoping to see one of the blue ones or one of the yellow ones. This brown one, you know, he kind of looks more like a moth than a butterfly, so I was kind of disappointed. But nonetheless, I persisted. I would go on later in the day to get a lot more pictures of butterflies. And you're going to see that coming up here. Always keep both eyes open, and my mind is, if I'm focused on something with a wide angle of my eye, I can see everything, and my brain lets me see through this eye. But as soon as I acquire focus with this, my brain quickly shifts to this eye. So like if I'm looking in the camera, and as soon as I get focus on you, I'm shifted over to this eye. I would encourage you to practice this in your living room, just holding your camera up, looking around to different places, and as soon as you got something that you want to see, as soon as it comes into your field of view, your mind automatically shifts over to your camera's eye. But subconsciously, you'll be able to see both of what you're seeing from this eye and through the camera. It's a little difficult to explain, but it's a really fun thing I would encourage everybody to try. Just sit around in your house with a telephoto lens. Hopefully you've got something that you can manually control, and just look through the optical viewfinder and play around with this trick. Okay, here we see that footage again, and what I just explained probably made no sense, but over on the left, you kind of get the field of view of what I see looking out of my left eye. And then over on the lower right, you kind of have a zoomed in view. It's GoPro footage cropped in. But it kind of resembles a little bit of what the view is like in the viewfinder. And normally what you see on the lower left is going to be kind of all out of focus as you adjust focus. But you can see that I'm correctly tracking the camera to wherever the butterfly goes, even though it will, when it flutters away, it'll go out of view in my viewfinder very fast, but I don't have to take my camera away from my eye because I can see with my left eye where it went. And this is actually a pretty neat trick, and once you have a subject, it's kind of a quick way to lose your subject and find it again because you're using both eyes at the same time. And it's really interesting the way the brain will just automatically go from one eye to the other as soon as you acquire focus, or if you're trying to look for something that went out of your field of view. Alright, and I'm just going to kind of move ahead here, and I'm carefully looking. Right now, you know, obviously I'm no longer holding the camera up to my eye anymore. I'm just looking around for subjects. And when you're out in public, people can scare you because, where's Robert?
Hey, Robert!
I have no idea who Robert is, but some lady right behind me screamed, so let's just, a lot of times this is why I like to put in some AirPods whenever I'm doing photography, so it kind of drowns out the background noise. And here I just found the subject. So I'm putting the camera up to my eye, and here we go. That butterfly was sitting still, but it had flown away just as I came around it. I was going to try to get a different angle. And I walked through here carefully, kind of looking up to see if I can see any more butterflies or different types of butterflies. But I think that was almost going to be it for the day. And it's kind of frustrating because they're flying all around. And I'm still walking very slowly and carefully because you want to wait for one of them to land somewhere. And as soon as they land somewhere, you gotta move very slowly as you come up to them or you'll scare them away. Just hoping to get that one that flew around there on the lower left, and out here you'll see a few flying around. Usually in this part of the botanical gardens, there are a bunch of bird feeders off to the right. So the smaller flying insects kind of veer away from all the birds where there's a bunch of bird seed. And I'm looking through these flowers and there was nothing. And I walked around and I finally found a yellow butterfly. And I'm going to take a quick picture from far away because I know as soon as I walk up on this thing, it's probably going to fly away. So I get up closer, I'm adjusting my focal length and focus. And I want to walk around over here to the left and get a picture from underneath, but as soon as I do, yeah, he flies away. And that one is gone. So I wander around a little bit. There's some other areas of the botanical gardens right around in here that generally have had a lot of flowers on them, especially the spot right here straight ahead. There were just none there today, and I think maybe it was a little bit too windy and they had gotten blown away. But overall, I had a really good trip, and I think I got a lot of promising pictures. I hope you've enjoyed seeing them. And so right here I'm just going to fade out and I'm just going to go back and show you my favorite photos for the day. Hope you enjoy.